Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome to another tutorial video. I am the Ultra Farmer, and in today's guide we are going to go over TMR or Total Mixed Rations. I'm going to show you how to make it, all the different implements that you can use to make it, how the recipes work, and kind of all that stuff. TMR is used, it is fed to the cattle. It is used to kind of increase productivity for your water buffalo or for your dairy cows. They'll produce kind of better milk, more milk, maybe not better milk, but more milk. They're just overall more productive. And to do that, you have to mix different elements. You have to mix your hay, your straw, and your silage along with mineral feed in a specific manner, and it will create TMR. We do it in these mixers that I have behind these elements, and when done right, you feed that to the animals and you'll get better productivity. So let's get into it. Let's first get into these pieces of equipment, where to find them in the store, and kind of their differences. Okay, so all the controls and stuff that I'm going to give you are basically going to be on PC. However, all of this stuff that we're going to talk about works on all platforms. So it doesn't matter if you're on console, all this stuff is going to be the same. This is base game equipment and like knowledge, if you will. There's no mods or anything crazy on for TMR. So I push P on my keyboard. It brings me into the store menu, and I'm going to scroll down to where it says animals in the subcategory. Scroll down here, animals, you're going to see forage mixers. Now, in forage mixers is where you're going to find the units that actually create the TMR. I'm just going to show you off to the right here. If you come into the food category, this is where you can find your mineral feed. It's you get 1,050 liters for $1,000, and this is where you get that. Now, if you want to buy the bales, you can always create your own bales. You can create your own hay, your own silage, and your own straw. I have kind of separate videos and all of that. I'm not really going to get into that production today. So if you want to just go make TMR and you just kind of want to test it out, this is where you can buy the bales. The only difference between the round and the square bales is the amount, the volume that comes in there, which matters when mixing the TMR. And I'll kind of show you that it really just matters for you to remember your recipe based on your farm. And again, I'll kind of explain that when we start mixing the recipes. But this is where you get your hay, your silage, and your straw for the TMR. Now let's go back up into the mixing unit. So if we come back up to animals and go to the forage mixers, there's 5 in the base game. These 3 are pull behind ones. So all of these do the same thing, just these 2 are a little bit different, but they all mix TMR. You throw your bales in, we either the front loader or you can just do it with super strength. That's how I'm going to do it today. That's how I do it on PC. Console, you're not going to have super strength, so you're going to have to use some sort of a forklift, a front loader, skid steer, something like that with a bale spike to get your bales into this unit. These auger blades spin around, it breaks apart the bale, and this is where the TMR is actually mixed. The only other thing to watch with these 3 units is the horsepower required to run the units, because the rear PTO hooks onto it. Now, the only other difference is their capacities. The one that we have sitting outside right now is this unit, and I have the extension on, so it'll hold 40,000 liters of the TMR once mixed. Now, if you come back down here, these are all the different little symbols for what can essentially go into this unit. So you can put straw, you can put the silage. This is mineral feed. Now, these 2 look the same. I'm going to explain there's just a slight difference. This is your symbol for hay. This symbol right here is used for forage. And so what forage is when you mismatch your recipe and you don't create the TMR, you actually create what's known as forage, which you can still feed to the animals. It's just not effective. This little one here with kind of like this like yellow diamond, that is your TMR symbol. And I'll kind of show you how all that works when you start mixing it. Now, the only difference with these ones, they still have the same tank in the back. You can put bales in here, but they have this front kind of auger arm. And what you can do is you can pick loose straw, loose silage, or loose hay off the ground with this, and it'll also like chew up a bale. If you come up to the bale and you turn this unit on and you kind of put this over the bale, it'll start breaking it apart and kind of like sucking it up this auger arm and putting it into the tank. And I'll show you that once we do our mixes outside. So let's go back out here and let's talk about the main ingredients for TMR. Now, we have 4 ingredients sitting here. You really only need 2. You really only need your silage, or sorry, your hay and your silage. Straw and mineral feed are kind of just like, the mineral feed is kind of just there because it's a little bit more realistic. It would add nutrients to your TMR in real life. The straw is used as kind of like a filler, and it's used to kind of fill up your tank without having to burn up so many silage and hay bales, because your silage and your hay bales you're going to be using quite a bit of, and this is just kind of like a filler. It just helps fill the tank out, and yeah. It's like watering down your paint or something like that. It just makes your paint go a little bit further. That's kind of the same idea with straw. So let's first get into mixing these, or like the next get into mixing these and how everything works with your recipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push F1 on my keyboard. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up the help menu on the top left-hand corner. And as I come over to the unit, you're going to see a mixing ratio pops up. I'm going to try and put this up in the sky so that you can see it a little bit better. So as you can see, there's 4 red bars, and it goes hay, silage, straw, and then mineral feed. And they all have different kind of levels on there. And they're all at 0% because there's nothing in this tank right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what happens when I start putting stuff in. Now, I always recommend to start with either hay or your silage, and you start putting it in there, and it's going to change the ratios in there. As you can see, my hay bar has now gone green, and it's telling me that we're at 100% hay, which makes sense. All we did was put hay bale in, so we're at 100%. So now let's drop a silage bale in there, and you're going to see how those bars, oh, let's go like this. See how those bars change a little bit there. So let's drop that in. Now you can see the hay is dropping down and the silage is popping up. And now we have a green bar on our silage and a green bar on our hay. So what I want to do now basically we have a perfect TMR mix. If I jump in this unit, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, it says Total Mixed Rations. So now what I want to do is I kind of want to fill this out. We've got a good mixture in there, so let's just add a straw bale. Let's jump out. I'm going to add a straw bale to kind of just add some kind of like padding to our mix. Now it's going to change all our levels again, so let's go here and let's look. You can see the straw meters going up. Both our silage and our hay are now dropping down. And what's probably going to happen is we're going to push this mix into the red for our straw. Yep, we've got too much straw in there now. And we've got a low amount of silage and a low amount of hay. Now, since our silage seems to be at the lowest point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop in a silage bale to try and balance everything out again. So let's put in another silage bale. And now we'll watch our meters change. Yep, our silage is going up. Our straw is going to slowly come down. Our hay is dropping down as well. And we're going to try and get that straw into the green. Yeah, we weren't really quite able to get that straw into the green. So let's throw another hay bale in there. Let's throw one more hay bale and see if we can get this mix to balance out. So drop in our hay bale, and we're going to be watching our meter. Our straw should go down. Our hay is going up. Our silage is going to go down a little bit. Our straw is now in the green. Our silage is still in the green. Our mineral feed is obviously at 0 because we haven't put anything in there. So there we go. We have everything in the green. We have our straw in the green. We have our silage in the green. We have our hay in the green. We've got like a perfect mixture of TMR in this mixer right now. And it says we've got 87% or 35,000 liters. Now I know this tank will hold 40,000 liters. And this is where I was talking about your different sizes of bales and knowing the components of it for mixing this. So I don't always try and get 100% of this tank full. I try to get it as full as I can with a perfect mix. So the next thing that I want to do, let's get this thing out of the way real quick. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin around and I'm going to show you what we do with the mineral feed. Now, I just do this for me. You can definitely load the mineral feed in with like a pallet fork or something like that, and you can drop it in just like we did. What I like to do is I like to spin around to the pallet, and I like to use R on my keyboard, which is the same for like filling seed into planters and stuff like that. And I find it a little bit better because what I can do is I can push R, and if I stop it, I push it again, I can control how much of the TMR or the mineral feed goes into the mix. So I could push R again, some more of the pallet, I could push R and I could stop it. If you just jump out and I throw the whole pallet in, I don't really have control over how much goes in. Now one pallet's not going to push this over. I should be able to just put the pallet in and it's completely fine. But if you're trying to do more, sometimes I think it's a little bit better just to push R or whatever your keybind is if you're on console and all that into the mix. So what I want to do is I'm going to spin around here and we're going to drop this into our cow pasture here. And that is how you feed them TMR. That is how you make a perfect mixture. And like I said, what you want to do, oh, I'm just going to push I, it's going to pop out this side there, and that's how you fill it up. And now we have a perfect blend of TMR going in for the cattle. We don't have any cattle, but so that's where I said what you want to do is if you're going to be making your own hay or your silage, It's really good to know and to keep your bale sizes consistent so that you know each time with whatever mixer you have, whether it's this red one that I've got or maybe you've got this one, since it's got a smaller tank, it's going to take a different recipe. Maybe it'll only take 2 hay bales and 1 straw bale and 1 silage bale, or maybe it's 2 hay, 2 silage, and a round straw bale. You got to kind of mix and play with it. So I always suggest that you start with putting in your hay and silage first, kind of get that blend good, and then add in your straw afterwards. Now, what I want to do is I want to jump into this unit, and I want to, one, show you how it works, but I'm going to, two, show you what happens when you mix match your blends. So what we did last time is we did our hay first, and then our silage, and then our straw. And we're going to do the same thing. So this unit, what you can do, like I said, we can just jump out, and we could just throw in a silage bale like we did the other ones. And let's jump back in this unit here. And as you can see, the augers start going and they mix it, and we can see our mixture meter, our mixing ratio on the side is off. We got way too much silage in there. So what we want to do is let's get a hay bale in there. So I'm going to push B on my keyboard. Oh, sorry, I got to unfold it first. I'm going to push X. That's going to unfold this unit. And I'm going to push B on my keyboard. And as you can see, those auger blades in there start spinning. And I'm going to come up to this bale. And I can control the up, down. If I hold the left click on my mouse and articulate it up and down, I can come over this bale. And if I drop this down onto it, it's going to start chewing that bale up. And as you can see, it's spitting it into that back tank, and our ratio is starting to balance out. And you just have to sit there for a little bit, and it'll slowly kind of chew that whole bale in there. And as you can see, we have a TMR. It says Total Mixed Ration in that bottom corner. So we have a good blend in there. We could feed this to the animals. Our tank's not full, but we have a perfect blend. Like I said, you don't need the straw or the mineral feed. But let's see what happens when we put too much straw into this unit. So now we're going down and we've got a whole bunch of straw in there. And we're going to really blend this out. And now our straw has gone into the red, right? We've got way too much. And as you can see, our mixer on the bottom right-hand corner, it now goes to forage. It doesn't say Total Mixed Rations anymore. It just says forage because our blend is mixed up. It's not correct. We don't have enough silage in there. We have way too much straw. We don't have enough hay. And that's what happens when you mismatch your Total Mixed Rations. The only thing that kind of sucks with that, to be honest, is if you want to get rid of this, you have to you can't sell it. You're kind of just hooped. You got to go dump it into a barn, or you've got to sell this unit, or there's no real way to get it out. You could probably go around and you might be able to go kind of dump it on the corner of a field somewhere. You might be able to dump it on your field and just mulch over it or cultivate over it. I haven't really tested that, but you might be able to do that. And unfortunately, there's not really anything that you can't sell it. You can feed it to the animals if you do that, but if you're really just trying to stick with TMR, you might have to dump it on a field and cultivate over it, or just go dump it in the corner of your farm. It would be my suggestion. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you make TMR. That is how you balance out your ratios. That's how you get your mixing recipe correct. You just kind of go back and forth. And once you get it figured out for the mixer that you have on your farm and the bales that you're either buying or making yourself, you'll be able to just remember it. Like we know in that red one, it's 2 hay, 2 silage, 1 straw, and a little bit of mineral feed. And we get a 90% tank full of perfect TMR mix. So that's it. If you got any other questions or concerns, make sure and leave it in the comments section below. If this tutorial was helpful for you, make sure and hit that like, hit that sub button. Leave us a comment if there's any other tutorials that you would like me to cover. And if you want to learn more about how to make hay or silage or straw, make sure and check out my other tutorial videos. So thanks again for watching. I am the Ultra Farmer, and I will see you guys on the next tutorial.